Hello and welcome Universe Mode. This is NXT. Last week's show was a big one for this brand as the NXT Championship was defended once more in a close-off, in a closing of the door between Hiroshi Tanahashi and Coren in what was an eventful match, an eventful night as well. It was Coren who retained the NXT Championship. He defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi, held onto his title for another day, and put him away in convincing fashion. And Coren, speak of him, we'll start things off here tonight on NXT with his victory celebration, which, if you know what Coren is, he's going to brag. He's going to play up this victory. He's going to act like he's conquered the world again. Because that's exactly what he's going to do. He defeated Tanahashi, and now he can set his sights on TakeOver Chicago, or he can just set his sights on bragging tonight. But he will not be in action tonight, and he will not be in the main event. That goes to the women of NXT. Tonight's main event is a huge one. It is going to be a great match. You can already tell just by looking at it. Despite Trifecta's attempts to take over the NXT Women's Division, it is Charlotte and Kairi Sane who will battle here tonight. Charlotte has been making the impact since arriving on NXT. Kairi Sane, of course, has been the NXT Women's Champion since November. These two women ready to collide in what will be a really strong, entertaining, fun match that I can't wait for. But before we get to that, we've got this to start with. And he makes sure that all the attention is on him. Makes sure to take as long as he can heading towards the ring. Make no mistake about it, the Hammerstein Ballroom certainly are not happy to see him here, and neither am I, to be fair. I'm not happy to see him as NXT champion for one, and I'm not happy that he convincingly defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi for another. That all sucks, is the words I'm looking for, but let's see what he's gonna do. Oh, surprise, surprise, he's bragging. Coren instantly heads towards his victory last week in a kind of I told you so moment. If anyone thought that Tanahashi really got to Coren, then they were fooled. He was simply playing mind games against Tanahashi against NXT. He truly is invincible, and he showed that last week. Alright, yeah, and grass is fucking Chernobyl. Coren continues on saying that with Tanahashi gone, there is no one in front of him. There never was anyone in front of him, and there's no one behind him who's close to causing problems heading into TakeOver. The way Coren sees it, TakeOver Chicago will be another cakewalk for him. Let's see why. He states that because there is no viable number one contender, the NXT board will panic and try and put one against him. But it will all be in vain, because it doesn't matter who it is. No one on NXT is on the level of Coren. There never was anyone on the level of Coren. He's been the NXT champion for so long because he is better than everyone. And if he needs to prove that at TakeOver Chicago, so it will be. But make no mistake about it, it will not be against Hiroshi Tanahashi. He is done for. He is gone. Tanahashi is finished in Coren's eyes, just like Okada. Except he's the WWE champion. Bring forth who you may, Coren shall introduce them, and Coren shall let them know that the clock strikes 12. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Always watching, always listening, blah, blah, blah. Coren certainly soaking in the ego from last week. Certainly still believing he is on top, despite a very close confrontation between himself and Tanahashi. However, he makes a very fair point at the same time. There is no one close to him. There is no true number one contender that I think we can find on NXT. which sucks, but let's hope that in the month, or just under a month now that we've got to build up to TakeOver Chicago, someone can jump out of the blue and become number one contender. I hope, and I hope it's a viable contender as well. But with that being said, we're going to kick off the action here in NXT. Titus O'Neil and Velveteen Dream to start us off here tonight. Dream, have we seen him since his victory over Kushida? I want to say once, maybe? I'd have to double check, see if I'm right on that one or not, but Velveteen Dream has certainly been heading into these last few matches with a lot of ego to him, and he's certainly, if you ask me, and if you ask a lot of people backstage, and even if you ask you guys, the fans of NXT, there is unfinished business between one Velveteen Dream and Kushida after their matchup a few weeks ago on NXT, where Velveteen Dream had to roll up Kushida in order to win. It was, it was a very close victory. It was in some ways a controversial victory. Dream certainly the closest he's come to being defeated since arriving in this universe. However, the Velveteen Dream still not been pinned yet. Still has not been submitted yet. If he has lost, it would be a triple threat match where he was obviously not the man pinned. He looks to continue on that undefeated streak of his by going on to defeat Titus O'Neil here tonight. Continuing his winning streak and letting Kushida know if there is going to be a rematch, well, Velveteen Dream has his number every day of the week. You haven't seen Kushida, I don't think, since that loss. Maybe Kushida's been back home training. I think Kushida actually went on a little bit of an excursion away, went back home for a little bit after that defeat, because it kind of took a lot of... it demoralized Kushida in some ways. And so he needs to try and bounce back from that. However, while he may be away on excursion still, I'm not 100% sure about that one, but while he may still be away, Velveteen Dream is here and he's learning and he's taking a lot of victories with him. He's going to take another one here over Titus O'Neil. Velveteen Dream's certainly been staking his claim in NXT since his arrival just before, I think about halfway between TakeOver San Antonio and... No, was it even... It was even sooner than that. It was before TakeOver San Antonio Dream came around. And since then, his flamboyant attitude has been lighting up NXT in its own special way. Dream now holding Titus O'Neil in position. Great bit of speed there to hit that crossbody, and O'Neil is in trouble in the early stages. Kind of felt like O'Neil was the underdog heading into this despite his power advantage over Velveteen Dream, who hits his signature Death Valley driver there. Velveteen Dream goes up to the top rope. If he was thinking Purple Rainmaker, he wasn't going to get the chance because Titus O'Neil was getting up to his feet. Oh, what a reversal. And a there by Titus O'Neil, but Titus can't continue on with that advantage. Back suplex will bring him right back down. Velveteen Dream taking care of business in his own right over the former Intercontinental Champion in this universe. Takedown there, Luther's press. Velveteen Dream has kept Titus O'Neil on his back for most of this match, and Velveteen Dream feels like it's already time to end things here. Dream up on that top rope. Purple Rainmaker. Look at that elbow drop. Good halfway across the ring as well. Dream flew, and that was pinpoint into the chest of Titus O'Neil. And he goes for the cover after it to close things out. There's 1, 2, 3. Convincing victory for the Dream. Velveteen Dream continues on his undefeated streak here in NXT. No one able to stop him yet. Titus O'Neil, just another name on the list. But if we would compare this to the NXT Championship, there's a strong chance that Kushida could be Velveteen Dream's Hiroshi Tanahashi. And if that is the case, then for all we know, things may not repeat themselves. Kushida, if he gets another shot at him, may find it within him to defeat Velveteen Dream, take away that undefeated streak, and be victorious over the Dream. But we'll see if that'll happen. We'll see if a rematch will even happen. Kushida might still be away for some time, recuperating after it all. Nevertheless, we're going to move on to our next contest now. Trying to remember what it is off the top of my head. My bad for not remembering. Oh, I do remember. Just came to me. I'm going to pretend like it totally did. You see here, well, you hear the theme. You don't see anything because the arena's gone pitch black, but there is Pentagon Jr. heading towards the ring. Man on the losing streak as of late, but a man who may help prove pivotal to something else going on in NXT right now. He's taking on Lio Rush, who, of course, last week accepted the invitation from Edge to help him find the man who attacked Lio Rush, put him on the shelf for a number of months and tried to end his career. Edge's first assumption, because we have not seen this man without a mask, was Pentagon Jr. Believes that Jr. may, just may, have something to do with it all. Lio Rush, you know, he knows about as much. He knows about as much as we all do. He accepted Edge's gift because Edge, you know, his knowledge in the backstage area, his stance as well as one of those legends. I know Edge has talked previously in the past about not enjoying being disrespected, but at the end of the day, Edge is still a legend. But there are going to be people in the locker room who are going to help him and going to look up to him. And it's kind of interesting that Edge has accused Pentagon Jr. first. I get the claims where Edge is going from, because the guy was all donned up in a suit, which hides the tattoos of Pentagon Jr. He had a mask on. Well, we haven't seen Pentagon Jr. without a mask, so it's very well a possibility that it could have been Pentagon Jr. in that way, because the simple truth is we know nothing about what Pentagon Jr. looks like. We don't know the man who's under that mask. We don't know the man who attacked Lio Rush under that mask. We don't know, you know, like I said, the suit, or whatever it was, completely cleared up the potential tattoos of Pentagon Jr., completely cleared them all up. And the guy attacked him in a very, very vindictive fashion as well, akin to something that Pentagon Jr. certainly enjoys doing. But there's one thing that turns it away from me from being Pentagon Jr., and that is if Pentagon Jr. was to do something like that, he wouldn't dress himself up. He wouldn't put on that suit. If Pentagon Jr. was to attack someone like that, he'd do a dress just like that. He'd want people to know that it was him. He would like everyone to be aware that it was him who attacked Lio Rush on that night of NXT many, many months ago. That's why I don't think it was Pentagon Jr. However, you know, when we know absolutely nothing like we do about the guy, Edge has got to go with his intuition. And to be fair, it's not a bad shout by any stretch of the imagination. You know, it's not like he's swinging for the fences with Pentagon Jr. And as well, with Edge at ringside, Lio Rush might be able to learn a thing or two from the two-time world champion. Might be able to pick up some things from the man who has made a name for himself in this universe. Like I said, goes down as a legend whenever he decides to bow out. Right now, Pentagon Jr. looks to overcome his losing streak against Lio Rush. Oh, further breaker there from Pentagon Jr. As I said, as I was about to say, they're looking to overcome his losing streak. Been seeing this a lot more over the last few weeks. Just the consistent losses that he has been sustaining have proven pivotal to Pentagon Jr. in many regards. Last week he jumped the gun and started attacking the NXT Global Champion Pete Dunne, only to get put away by him. And now he looks to try and overcome Lio Rush here tonight, who of course has this anger within him to try and find the man responsible. And if Edge is thinking that it's Lio Rush, sorry, not Lio Rush, if Edge is thinking that it's Pentagon Jr. responsible for attacking Lio Rush, then Lio Rush is going to come out here with a very personal vendetta against him, and we're seeing that here. Lio Rush's rendition of an F5 connects on Pentagon Jr., a man much bigger and much taller than him as well. Into the cover now. Goes Rush, but it's a kick out. But Rush is not letting up on Pentagon Jr., certainly seeing the side of Lio Rush that knows that it could be settled here tonight. But like I said, just going off of my intuition, I don't think it's Pentagon Jr. I think if Edge knew it was Pentagon Jr., he'd accuse him of it. Well, accuse him more than what he accused Pentagon Jr. I think he'd come out publicly and accuse the man of doing it. There we go, finally got my sentence out. Lio Rush, though, looking to take flight against Pentagon Jr., flying over the top rope and to the outside. Pentagon Jr. is down. Oh, but he's fighting back immediately. We're on the outside now, and this is where Pentagon Jr. gets to enjoy himself. Gets to use whatever is on the outside to his advantage. Like that steel barricade there. And we return to the ring now with Pentagon Jr. in control and potentially one step closer to closing out his undefeated streak, to bringing it to an end here tonight. Points at Lio Rush, who's, I don't think is aware that Pentagon Jr. is on the top rope. He looks to fly, and Rush with a great evasion there. Moved out of the way of Pentagon Jr. and has him right where he wants him. Rush Hour! It connects. Pentagon Jr. has been hit with a lot in this one, and it's enough to finish the job. Rush is your winner. But how close does that get Lio Rush towards closing out this issue of finding the man who attacked him? Was this just another match to get Rush warmed up for that eventual night? I'm not too sure. Edge knows. Edge knows best on this. He's leading the way, and he's using his intuition to help him out here. So let's just go with what Edge has got. I may not respect Edge a lot of the times, but you know, if Edge is helping out Lio Rush, then he knows what's going on. Hopefully we get an answer to this very soon, because Lio Rush said he wanted to settle it on the big stage, and I hope he gets to settle it at TakeOver Chicago, in all honesty. Nevertheless, we're going to move on to our next contest. It's tag team match time with a new team here in NXT. You see the name there. If I butcher this, I'm very sorry, but the team known as El Orgullo de Lucha, otherwise known as the Pride of Fighting. Or Pride Fighting, as it would literally translate to. Kalisto and Grand Metalik making their tag team debut here in NXT. Kalisto's first match on NXT as well. And certainly no stranger to tag team wrestling, as he looks to get something going here with Grand Metalik, the guy who has a little bit of a fire underneath him as well on NXT. But we haven't seen him in a few weeks, because he had been welcoming Kalisto to NXT, learning how these two could work. They had an immediate connection with one another, and immediately they wanted to start making things happen as a tag team. I think that is how they believed they could find their calling here in NXT. Well, it certainly worked for the duo of Ty Dillinger and EC3, as we saw last week with a huge win over American Alpha. And now with the new team here, might do them good stuff. Kalisto making a good run up here. Was on SmackDown for the longest time and was restricted basically to opening up house shows and being defeated a lot of times. This is this is what Kalisto needed to get something going for himself here. And now we get to see him showcase his ability on NXT. Goes into the turnbuckle again. These two men looking to show off their tag team maneuvers. Nice back suplex there, and oh, lovely. Catapult sent on there. Standing shooting star press, as well as the taller of the two in Metalik looks to get things going for himself here. Heath Slater in a lot of trouble right now. Flip power bomb into the cover, looking to try and put away Slater here. Great counter by Slater there, gotta say it. Early kick out though by Metalik. Let's see what can happen here, because, you know, it's one thing for a tag team to be on offense all the time, but you've got to see how the tag team can work when they're in trouble as well. And right now, they're in a measure of trouble. Darren Young in control for a moment over Grand Metalik, but that's quickly denied. Clothesline there stops that from happening. Take a look at this now. Oh, his own rendition of Rush Hour there. And look at how quickly Metalik can pull himself up to the top rope. Darren Young hasn't even found his footing yet. Metalik gonna fly at him, and they both go down. Now Metalik might have been thinking Hurricanrana, but couldn't find it all. But nevertheless, he stays in control here over Darren Young. Metalik showing good stuff so far. Kalisto was showing strong stuff as well when he was in the ring. And back in he comes. Tag made now. Chinlock there. Sends him on his way. Catapult. Meteora there. Some very versatile offense shining through. And the tag is made. Heath Slater in. Big drop kick. Kalisto goes down. But stopped after that. Tilt-a-whirl head scissors now. El Orgullo de Lucha firing up here. And Kalisto with his own flip power bomb. Nicely done. You hear the crowd here in the Hammerstein Ballroom on the side of Kalisto a little bit. You hear those sections of the crowd chanting Lucha. Certainly on the side of this duo. Kalisto going to fly long way across the ring, but he got that drop kick. Great stuff there by Kalisto. Heath Slater, though. Look at this fight back. Facebuster there. Slater really has been kind of the dark horse of this match, in all fairness. He's been fighting a lot more than what Darren Young has, but maybe I jinxed that. Darren Young, tilt-a-whirl DDT there. Now it's Young's opportunity. Imagine what a victory for this duo would do here. Be a huge upset if they could pull it off. Kalisto was firing some kicks there away into the leg of Darren Young. Throws him into the corner, and you're hearing quite a few Lucha chants now breaking out across the Hammerstein Ballroom. Think they have found their footing with the Hammerstein crowd. Counter there by Kalisto. Sends him into the turnbuckle there. Tag made. Darren Young could be in trouble. Look at the strength there, and flying through the air like a torpedo came Grand Metalik into the cover on Darren Young. Young kicks at it too, though. It was the strength from Kalisto to pull off something like that was outstanding. But it's Metalik's job now to try and finish it up here. Darren Young in a lot of trouble right now. Has to be said. Just kind of dazed as Metalik is firing away here with shots. Man more accustomed to being on NXT. Had a good few matches on here. Had some victories to his name as well. Nice double arm drag connecting there. Darren Young still got some fight back within him. However, I'm starting to feel like the closing stages could be soon. And this could be it. Grand Metalik with a Metalik driver. Into the mat. The cover there. And that seals it. Victory for El Orgullo de Lucha. Happy days for them indeed. The new tag team on the block in NXT, and a victory for them as well. These are the things that they need in order to get themselves off to a successful start. You want to be a good team? Well, you need to win and win right away. It's worked for Ty Dillinger and EC3, and it's working right now for this duo. The difference between this duo and Dillinger and EC3, they have a name. At least that's a good thing. It's a complex name, but it's a name. Victory there for this new duo. Kalisto looked great. I gotta give him credit. Grand Metalik also looked like he hadn't missed a beat in his time off. Good stuff there for this new duo as the NXT Tag Team Division looks to rebuild. We're going to move on though, because up next we're going to hear from another champion here tonight, the NXT Global Champion, with a few things to say. Pete Dunne has a few responses to make the little scuttles he shared around NXT. Just before the man who perhaps has made the loudest acquisition, the loudest piece towards him in No Way Jose, who's in action up next, was the point I was trying to get across. Pete Dunne may have a rebuttal to him. And Dunne doesn't seem like he's interested in hearing what the Hammerstein Ballroom has to say. Tell him to shut up. He's making his way into the ring here, taking his little time. Let's see what Dunne has to say. Pete Dunne talking about what I've said. He said he's heard rumors that people want to try and step up to Dunne and take the global championship away from him at Chicago. To Pete Dunne, that's funny, because everyone knows that Dunne already is the greatest global champion there has been. Every day that Pete Dunne holds the NXT Global Championship, he is bringing prestige to it. He is bringing honor to it. It is not a belt meant for old-timers. It is not a belt meant for people who can't hang anymore. And it certainly isn't a belt for No Way Jose. Oh, there we go, bringing up his name. Pete Dunne letting Jose know he's in action up next. Dunne's watching very closely indeed. If he loses here tonight, tough luck. No NXT Championship shot for you. If he wins, maybe the Bruiserweight can introduce you to a bitter end. As for anyone else who wants to try, the same goes to you. Short, sweet, but to the point. Pete Dunne doesn't care, in a way, who's up next. He wants to introduce them to the bitter end. He wants to show them why he's called the Bruiserweight. And to No Way Jose specifically, he has no problem putting him down. Pete Dunne with a little bit of a strong belief within him, shall we say. Certainly believes that he can put this man down if he was to battle for the NXT Global Championship at Chicago. But right now, it is all about a fiesta kicking up here in the Hammerstein Ballroom. No Way Jose getting ready for action against a tough opponent, it has to be said. Perhaps his toughest opponent in NXT, even tougher than Big Cass was at TakeOver Orlando in Dean Ambrose. But No Way Jose is not going to let that sway him off. He realizes that he's got the attention of the NXT Global Champion. That may have been the motivation. That could be motivation within No Way Jose to realize here tonight, I better beat Dean Ambrose. You know, for all the, I've said this a lot of times about No Way Jose, he's all fun and games heading into the ring, but when you get in that ring, you don't realize just how serious No Way Jose really is. He's a very, very serious competitor. He's a very tough competitor. Showed it again at TakeOver Orlando. Falls count anyway, got busted open, fought in the crowd with Big Cass, and survived. Survived in a strong fashion as well. So can he do the same here tonight against Dean Ambrose and head out with a huge win for himself over a former world champion within this universe? We'll find out. The fiesta is alive in the Hammerstein Ballroom. It's just a question of if the Conga Party can follow and if all of that within No Way Jose, all of that party fever, can be enough to overcome the Lunatic Fringe. Dean Ambrose heading towards the ring here for his second match in NXT, and he knows this is a big one. He knows there are a lot of eyes on this match, including the eyes of the NXT Global Champion. Ambrose heads towards the ring for what could be a very competitive match indeed, and that's Shelton Benjamin, the gold standard from behind, attacking Ambrose and launching him into the steel steps. And as he lays in the ring, and as he lays down there, Benjamin goes right after No Way Jose now. Shelton Benjamin talked last week about how he didn't want to be overlooked, and he was taking things into his own hands. This is clearly that from Shelton Benjamin. Pay dirt to No Way Jose. Dean Ambrose and No Way Jose down in the blink of an eye. This match is over before it can even begin. Shelton Benjamin just knocked both men out in what, 15, 20 seconds at best. Benjamin is the man standing tall before this matchup can even begin. He told people to watch out, and indeed everyone should. Shelton Benjamin just took that match away, and since Pete Dunne had eyes on that match, he had eyes on what Shelton Benjamin just did. There's no matchup. There's no chance we can get something like that underway. Instead, we are going to have to move on to the main event of the evening. Already, I know. Wow. Wowie. Shelton Benjamin just definitively took matters into his own hands. Where do we go from here? I hope we get an announcement from the senior board of NXT, from the GM, from the Sheriff, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I hope we get some kind of official announcement regarding that, but we're going to have to move on from that. As much as I would like to keep on talking about it, we do have to move on because it is time for our main event here, the women main eventing NXT. Charlotte and Kairi Sane, dare I say it, two of the best women's wrestlers in the world, competing here in the main event of NXT. There's been some good matches here tonight, but there is no doubt in my mind that this was deserving of a main event slot when you see these two women on the card, especially when you've got the only champion in action tonight. Kairi Sane, like I said at the start of the show, has been the NXT Women's Champion since November. She's had to fight off the Iconic Duo. She's had to fight off Trifecta so far. But that story is still not finished. But tonight, she has a threat that is, make no mistake about it, one that she cannot for a tenth of a second afford to overlook in Charlotte. This woman, since she has arrived, has been incredibly tough and has been making sure that everyone is talking about her. Everyone is paying attention to her. And certainly, she's got the attention of Kairi Sane in this matchup here tonight. But Sane has to also think about the potential of trifecta. Tessa Blanchard, who 2 weeks ago said that their business was not finished and that when they feel like it, they may well unleash Jazzy Gabbert onto Kairi Sane and that NXT Women's Championship. The alpha female could be on her way for Sane and her championship. Might be a time for alliances in the NXT Women's Division. There's a great deal to fight back against trifecta. You've got Ruby Riott, Charlotte, Sane, Toni Storm. Those at the very least could fight back against trifecta. But right now, that's not happening. Instead, what is happening right now, I think, is two women who have a mutual respect for one another getting ready to square off in the main event. Putting trifecta beside them for one night only and getting ready to have a great matchup. Sane came launching in at Charlotte, but the daughter of the Nature Boy Ric Flair just too quick for Charlotte to gain an advantage over. Kairi Sane there locks in the arm now. Hammerlock applied here. But the taller woman that is Charlotte able to bring her down. You look at the difference between the two. Sane looks almost tiny compared to Charlotte. She's given up about half a foot, I would say. And then maybe 40, 50 pounds? That might be a bit too much, but Charlotte certainly looks like, Sane, if I had to hazard a guess, looks like she weighs about 120, 130 pounds. Charlotte looks to be up in maybe not the 170, 180 range, but certainly around the 150, 160. So I would say there's 30 pounds in this, but make no mistake about it, weight isn't the only thing that makes you a better wrestler. I mean, we've seen on a great number of occasions David conquer Goliath. It is what you do with your weight that matters. Kairi Sane may be lighter than Charlotte, but in the same extent, she may be able to use every single bit of her weight that she is to take care of Charlotte. We just saw there, that kick in the gut brought Charlotte down. And oh, that big boot there brought Kairi Sane down. These two women just squaring off with one another, just showing what the NXT Women's Division can be all about. And it feels like it is the first time in a very, very long time where you don't have to panic about trifecta. Where you can always just put that to one side and look at something else. This is that something else, and it is a great something else as well. Kairi Sane finally getting a chance to fight those on NXT who are deserving of a shot at her title. Girls like Charlotte, women like Toni Storm, Ruby Riott as well. Not people like trifecta. Just nice to see a change, and nice to see the main eventing as well. Is what these women are all about. Getting their name out there on the map and showing that just how great women's wrestling can be. To be fair, so far in this matchup, these two women have been showing it. Highly competitive. You can see that both women have a sense within them that there's nothing to lose. Of course, Sane doesn't have a #1 contender to her NXT Women's Championship for TakeOver Chicago yet. Like I said, we're still about a month out, so there's no real need for there to be #1 contenders yet. Great evasion though by Kairi Sane. Might have been thinking landslide, decided against it. And hung Charlotte out to dry on the ropes there. Up on that second rope goes Kairi Sane. She's looking for something dangerous here. Charlotte in trouble. Drop kick? No. Charlotte able to evade it. Nicely done thus far from both women, but Charlotte just a little bit too speedy for Kairi Sane, and now just using her strength to her advantage. And like father, like daughter, she will go after the legs for a second here, look to weaken them down for the figure eight. Boston Crab applied here to Kairi Sane, stitched in. Sane gets herself out of it. Sane, though, showing her strength. Fusikaroshi there, and Charlotte goes down, but only for a moment. She's right back up to her feet, and what a big boot from the Queen. Uh-oh. Charlotte maybe looking for something a little bit old-timey. Natural selection. The figure 8 it is not. Charlotte just planted Sane's face head first into the mat. An old move of hers that could be enough to give her a big win over the champion here and a shot at the title at Chicago. No, Sane powers at it too. You kind of had an underlying sense that that was going to be the case, in all fairness. But we continue on here with these two women, and again up on the shoulders goes Charlotte. This time landslide connects. Look at the strength though that Kairi Sane is exerting. I guess the point that I made earlier about Sane being shorter and weighing less has completely fallen on deaf ears for Kairi Sane, as she is fighting in such a strong fashion. Charlotte though honing in some strikes for a moment there and just lifts up Sane with ease to hit that stun gun. Into the cover on the champion, hoping it's enough to put her away here. Has Charlotte done it here? Not quite yet. Certainly feels as if though Charlotte is closer to closing out this match than what Kairi Sane is. Sane though with a hand punch there, just fighting back against Charlotte. Great strength. Alabama slam there by Sane. Will she take herself to the top rope? Indeed she will. Are we going to see the insane elbow on its way here? Sane might be thinking it, but Charlotte got up to her feet and was able to avoid the attempted double knees in the back. Great evasion. Sane looks to use her strength within her there and perches Charlotte up on the top rope. This move in the past has proven dangerous, and it could do it again here from the second rope. That high up, Kairi Sane. Landslide to Charlotte. What a landing there. Charlotte just underwent. She tried to scoot up to her feet as quickly as she could. She could only hang on to the ropes, and Sane has brought them to the outside here. Kairi Sane has turned the pacing of this match around. The NXT Women's Champion is back in control right now. On the outside, neither women are really known for using it to their advantage. Oh, but Charlotte Flair ain't afraid to use it if she needs to. Big boot there across the face. Kairi Sane count up to 6 now. And we're going to head back in the ring. Charlotte going up to the top rope. Is she going to look for a signature moonsault here? No, she calls Sane up to her feet. Oh, overshot a little bit there. Grazed Sane. She might have been thinking Hurricanrana, but certainly did not connect with all of it. Sane up to her feet. Irish whip. Spear by Charlotte. Two forces colliding there, and that was going to hurt Sane a lot more, considering she was running at Charlotte and Charlotte was running at her. Charlotte drags her towards the middle of the ring and she gets the legs of the NXT Women's Champion. The end could be on its way. It very well could be. Charlotte transitions into the figure 8. Will Kairi Sane submit here to the figure 8 lock? The figure 8 is applied. Kairi Sane is batting herself away here. She's trying to hang in there. She's nowhere near the ropes and she knows it. Charlotte is just trying to force this hold to stay in there, but the champ stays in it. Great fight there by Kairi Sane. That refusal to say that she submits is why she is champion. Incredible fight back there from Kairi Sane as she keeps on going now. Elbows into the head of Charlotte, and suddenly the comeback is on for Kairi Sane here. Dropping her right on the top of her back and maybe even the bottom of her neck. Kind of a combination of both there. Sane looked to fly, but Charlotte able to move out of the way. Oh, lariat to the back there. Charlotte must be thinking, what else can she do to win this one? She's tried the natural selection and she's tried the figure 8, and neither have proven enough to finish this thing. Sane with another Ushigoroshi there, and now elbows to the head of Charlotte. Kairi Sane still has not hit the insane elbow in this matchup. She has survived a lot of offense. Now she needs to get some big moves of her own on the way. Sane, Irish whip. Charlotte goes up and over the top rope there. Charlotte though with a good counter. Flips back over. Sunset flip. Covers the champ. Will this be enough for Charlotte to get the win here in the main event? No, Sane just kicks out. A hair before 3. But Sane kicked out. Kick in the gut now by Charlotte. Oh, but she left a window for Sane to work with. Alabama slam. As the champ fired herself up once more. Drag Charlotte towards the middle of the ring. Into the cover now. But wow. A kick out that early has to kind of set something within Kairi Sane, as if to say she kicked out that early. That's quite surprising. Look at the strength, though, of Kairi Sane. Powerbomb there with ease. Charlotte goes down, but Sane is looking to close this one out right now. She goes up to the top rope. Insane elbow to finish Charlotte. 1 and nothing more. Charlotte kicks out that early on, and Kairi Sane can hardly believe it. I had a feeling that Charlotte would kick out, but I was not expecting it to be that early. Snake eyes now, and Sane is starting to get vicious with her opponent. She's had people kick out of that move before, but she really thought that was enough. She brings Charlotte up to her feet here, but look at how she fights on. These two women are locking horns with another non-stop. And Jazzy Gabbert! What? Trifecta have got their hands on this match. Jazzy Gabbert attacking both women now. Oh, for God's sake. This just had to happen, didn't it? She kicks Charlotte Flair out of the ring and leaves herself alone. Leaves herself alone with the NXT Women's Champion. Jazzy Gabbert has her in her wrath. Trifecta has unleashed her. And what better stage to do it than in the main event? On a weakened Kairi Sane. Charlotte can't help you. Sane's defenseless. The Omega Slam by Jazzy Gabbert. Trifecta has just left their stamp on this main event. Gabbert took the NXT Women's Championship. She holds it in her hands. This is a sign. This is a warning. Gabbert has been unleashed.